Have you ever applied to adopt a pet only to find out that you were unsuccessful or that over 100 people applied for the same animal? So how do you make your application stand out from the crowd? Well, you are not alone, and that is exactly what we're diving into today on Tails and Tones. But before we get into how to write an epic pet adoption application, I would love for you to hit follow or subscribe so you do not miss an episode packed with real talk, helpful tips, and heartwarming stories from our dog-loving community. You can also join our newsletter. Just head on over to the link on our Instagram bio, Tails and Tones, for updates and extras delivered straight to your inbox. Alrighty, let's dig in. Hi there and welcome to Tails and Tones. I'm your host, Mariska Nell, also known as Piper's mom. Whether you are a new dog parent, a seasoned pro, or about to submit your very first dog application, and hopefully join the pet parent tribe, today I will be sharing with you some top tips for your application to rise to the top of the pile. So when we applied for Piper, she got over 70 applications. That is also when I later found out that some of the other rescue dogs were receiving more than 200 applications for a single dog. Now, to be honest, this was mid-pandemic, so, everyone wanted to adopt a dog, which I wish more people could now. But yeah, so it was really, really challenging to get a dog during those times. So how can you make your application actually stand out? So let's dig into that. So it is really, really important to acknowledge the incredible work that all of these rescues do around the world to give pets basically a second chance in life. While some pets receive dozens of applications, others might get none. Like our Frenchie Piper. So she was rescued from No Pup Left Behind in Perth, Western Australia, and hats off to them. She was surrendered when she was only a couple of hours old after birth, when they discovered she's got a cleft palate, and this amazing team actually tube fed her around the clock until she was strong enough to get her surgery. So I will forever be grateful for them for, making those sacrifices to raise these pups, because many people don't. And the love and just care that they gave their pups was extraordinary. And the same is true for so many rescue groups around the world. Now, these organizations, as with the case with Piper, they spend so much time, love and attention to get this pup ready for adoption. And a lot of the times this pups has been neglected. They require maybe long-term medical care. So for these rescues, it is not just about finding a home for them. It is not just about placing them in another home other than this rescue. It is really about finding the right home. So their main goal is they want to find the right home, and they do not want this dog to go back into the system. So that is why they work as hard as they do to make sure that that does not happen. And that brings me to this week's positive rant. And it's something I'm so passionate about. And, just going through all of the Facebook groups I'm on, especially in the UAE at the moment, people are moving away, going away for long summer breaks, and then realizing how expensive it is to put your dog in a boarding or get someone to actually look after your dog, and they just give up these dogs, Most of the shelters here are full, and rescues are just honestly so overwhelmed. So my rant is, if you are considering adopting a dog, or, you know someone that's going to adopt a dog, please, please, please do remind them that adopting a pet isn't something that you just do on a whim. It's not a new handbag that you just pick up from the store and can chuck in a bin afterwards. It is really a long-term commitment, and you need to show up for that pet for the full duration of that animal's life. So a medium-sized dog can live around 12 years. And just for reference, like Paris Hilton's Chihuahua lived to 23. So that is a long-term commitment. If you're not quite ready for that responsibility, it's okay. Like, you can still become a foster parent. You can do some volunteering with these dogs. And you can even work with a rescue to take some of these dogs on daily walks, because every single support really means the world to these rescue groups. So, rant over. I just had to get that off my chest. Now, when it comes to the application process, so let's break it down. So most rescues have their own application forms, which is online. It might be downloadable. They might have it in a specific format, and they will have some requirements that vary from rescue to rescue. So what we're going through, it's not going to be like step 1, fill in your name, step 2. It's basically just make sure that you tick all of these boxes that, to kind of make sure your application stands out above some of the others. What they want to see in most of these applications is not only that you are going to take care of this pet, but they also want to see that you've got the means, the plan, and the heart to truly create a happy life for this pet. So that is really, really important for them to see. So they want to feel confident that if you adopt this pet, it won't be coming back to them or any other rescue in the future. So here are my 8 top tips to help your application stand out. So the first one is basically treat this as a job application. Like, we need to be serious about this. Be polite. You want to complete each section thoroughly. And you want to write in clear, error-free language. If you need to use ChatGPT, checking your grammar or whatever, do that. You don't want to have a hell of a lot of mistakes in there. So also avoid simple one-liners. If they ask you, why do you want to get a dog? And you're like, oh, I'm a huge dog fan. Kind of expand a little, but you also don't want to write an entire essay, 500, 600, 700 words on why do you want to adopt a dog. Keep it concise, but also give specifics. Be mindful that these people go through a lot of reviews and they don't want to miss out on yours because you gave them a 50-page document to read. So, yeah, be concise, but really, tell the story. And that brings me to the second point is tell your story. Don't just give them stats. Really share a short personal narrative, why this particular pet? Why now? Why are you adopting now? Give them some story behind it. You can include anything that builds this emotional connection. Previous experience with rescue pets, have you actually raised a special needs animal? What is your current life circumstances? Are you working from home? Because, if you're going to be home most of the time, it opens up a lot more possibilities for some dogs as well. And one of the things, when I just look back on Piper's profile, was going through her photo. She had this, little beanie on that she looked like a little frog. When I saw that photo, it immediately took me back to, my high school years. And I had the nickname, it was an Afrikaans, padda, which means frog. So it really seeing that, it felt serendipitous. And that is something that I put in my application as well. The third thing is to really describe your lifestyle honestly. Are you a morning runner that, for fun goes out and do 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers? Or are you a homebody who loves cozy nights with Netflix on the sofa? Do you work long hours? Do you have a flexible schedule? This really builds context to help the rescue assess your compatibility. So there might be a Rhodesian Ridgeback that's on for adoption, and you are a super lazy Netflix couch potato. But this dog honestly will not thrive unless it goes for a 10-kilometer run every day. So if they know that you're a Netflix body, they might not give you that dog. And in the end, it is the best for the dog. Don't kind of lie to, make it more accessible that you can get the dog. Like, honestly, be honest. If that's not the dog for you, there will be one for you. We need to make sure, and they need to make sure, that the right dog is matched with the right people. Number 4 is to outline your living situation. This is so important. Do you have a fenced yard? Do you live on a farm? Do you live in an apartment? Do you live near a park? Do you share a home with family members? Are you married? Do you have flatmates? Do you have kids? Just paint them a clear picture of your environment, as that really, really helps. And I'm going to put a quick pause in here. If you're enjoying this episode so far, please don't forget to join our email list for some bonus tips, updates, and a little bit extra love in your inbox. You can go onto our Instagram, Tails and Tones, and the link is in the bio right there. If you're vibing our show, I'd be so grateful if you share it with a fellow pet parent or leave a review on podchaser.com. The link's also in our bio on Instagram, Tails and Tones. It really helps other dog lovers just find us. And I would love to hear from you. Come say hi. Let me know what you've loved about this episode. And you can do so on our Instagram at Tails and Tones. Now, back to the tips. Number 5, basically show that you have done some homework. Like, we kind of treat it like a job application, but also school assignment. So show you've done the homework. If this pet has special needs or requires training, mention how will you handle this. Whether through a local trainer, whether you've got experience that you can kind of bring to the table, or are there some YouTube videos? Are you going through like some of the YouTube training videos that you're going to get her on this basic training? Do you have a vet in mind? If you don't have a dog, I don't expect you to have a vet like, oh, this is, Dr. Sam, he's our vet. But kind of say, I am planning to use Green Cross in Subiaco as our local vet. Show that you've gone that extra mile, and also acknowledge breed-specific traits. Like if you have a specific terrier that you want to adopt, like say, how are you going to handle that? And a book that I can highly recommend, and I'm going to link that in the show notes, is Meet Your Dog by Kim Brophy, I think her surname is. I might butcher that, but I'll link it in the show notes. It absolutely has all the traits of dogs. So, and then number 6 is walk them through your care plan. Don't just say, I'm going to care for the dog, I'm going to do this. Like, be specific. And again, we're not writing a 50-page essay. You can bullet point these and drop it in ChatGPT to kind of put together for you like a, comprehensive like paragraph or something. But make sure you hit all these marks and be specific about it. Like, where will the pet sleep? Is your pet not allowed to sleep inside the house? And there's no right or wrong here. If you say your pet's going to sleep on your bed and then it comes home and it's not allowed to sleep in the house, that might cause a problem because they might have not matched you with the right pet. Where will the pet go to bathroom? Like the potty. You have a big garden. Is it you live in an apartment and you need to go down every time to take out the dog? How will you provide exercise for the dog? Are we going on 2 daily walks for 15 minutes? Are the dogs coming with me to the office? What type of food will you offer? It just shows that, okay, I know like with Piper, like she was only allowed specific food. So I mentioned that and said, I know she's got a specific diet. So this is what I'm going to give her as like a food option. And also like pet insurance. Will you consider having pet insurance? If it is a dog, especially in our case with Piper, she had pet insurance in Australia because we were able to sign her up when she was still small and minus a few surgeries. But now in Dubai, we do not have pet insurance for her. And the reason for that is the pet insurance is so expensive. And the feedback that we've been getting from people that has had it was, they don't always pay. So it's really expensive, plus they don't always pay. So what we do is we actually have an emergency fund for Piper. So if something goes wrong, we can provide the finances. So say that. If you're not planning on getting pet insurance because of these reasons, state it. Do you have a backup plan for like travels or emergencies? Like if is your pet going to stay with your in-laws while you go away on holiday? Or if you have emergency surgery and you need someone to look after your pet, just kind of show that you thought about those things. So it really, really helps a lot. And again, we don't want full essays, but short, concise, give the details. Number 7 is transparency. Be transparent. And in all of these applications that I've seen, most of them ask, have you ever rehomed a pet? Now you can say, oh, I don't want to mention that, but be honest and explain. Like for example, I had to rehome our pet. It was our basset hound, Haley. She was living with me and my sister, so it was kind of our dog, but it was like my dog a little bit more because I got her. So when we moved to Dubai, she wasn't able to come with us as she was diagnosed with epilepsy. So it meant we either had to fly her with a private jet, and as a I was about 22 years old at that point, I just couldn't manage it. My sister was too happy to have her, so it worked out. But it is something that was really heartbreaking for me to go through. And it is also the reason why I'm so serious about pet ownership and why it took me more than 10 years before we got Piper, because I was like saying like, no, we can't. We need to, make 100% sure, because whenever we do move, like when we moved from Australia to Dubai, there was just no question. She had to come with. Share all of that. If you've got kids, if you've got other pets, this helps the rescues make safer and more informed placements. It is a bit of a tricky one, but be transparent. Do what is the best for the dog that you want to rescue. And then provide references and follow up politely. That's number 8. So just like with a job application, so references does matter. So you can either have a note from the vet if you know the vet and you've been there, maybe a trainer that will help you out, or a really important one is the landlord. Even if it's just providing a name, a number to show that you're responsible, that also goes a long way. But specifically when you look at people that's renting, because that's also a question that a lot of these rescues ask, like, do you rent or do you own the property? Because they know a lot of the times in Australia it was a big problem with people that was renting, when the rent goes up or something happens and they need to move, they aren't able to find properties that is dog friendly. So it is really, really important to mention that, and also to maybe get a letter to say that your landlord's okay with you having the dog. Because if you get the dog, you tick the box, you say, oh yeah, it'll be okay, and then, the landlord's not so happy, it can pose an issue. What happened with us when we were renting in Australia, before we signed our lease agreement, I was very adamant we were going to get a dog. I made sure the property is dog friendly, and I was told that we can have a dog as long as it's under 23 kilos. So we signed, got everything in, and then we started the adoption application processes. And we found this beautiful Australian bulldog, Rosie. I still have a photo of her. She was so sweet. And she was 21 kilos, so a little bit of a chunky lady. And I sent everything through to the landlord thinking it's going to be okay because we just had the restriction of 23 kilos. But as soon as they saw the application, they were like, no, she's too big. And then I was like, well, she's 21 kilos. So it really kind of, created this awkward position when we nearly moved out of our apartment because of this. So what I then did is kind of went with the landlord and said, okay, well, let's work on this. You said we are going to get a dog, or we can get a dog. So obviously Rosie is 21 kilos. You're saying she's too big. We were told 23 kilos. So what type of dogs can we get? And we just worked on a list like, this dog is fine, this dog's fine, a Great Dane, maybe not. And then once we've had that list, I was then able to kind of restart the whole applications and look at dogs that was kind of fitting in those criteria. I didn't necessarily want a purebred dog, but as long as they fit like in this thing that the landlord would accept, we were happy to do so. And that really, really helped us a lot to focus on, the right dogs that we need, and also gave confidence. Like when we applied for Piper, I already had like the approval from the landlord. I could provide them with this detail, say this is the approved dogs that they will approve to have here. So I mentioned all that. So that really helped. But now we've submitted everything. So you kind of, done everything, you've written everything, you've submitted your application. What do you do now? So if the applications has closed, so they would say 23 July, that is when the application closes, and they'll look at all the applications after. So after that date, I would normally give it a couple of days, maybe say like a week or so after the applications has closed. So don't submit and then the next day you're like, hey, hello, when can I pick up Piper? So give it a time. If you're worried that they haven't seen it, maybe just send a polite email, say, hi, if you submit it and you didn't receive, we've received your application kind of email, you haven't received anything, I would probably send just a follow-up, ask like, hey, this is Mariska, I applied for Piper's application. I just want to make sure or confirm that you've received it. And then they will probably say, yes, we have, or we're not discussing anything until all applications are closed or something. So about a week after, I would send up kind of a polite follow-up email just to check up on the status, which basically shows that you do have genuine interest, but don't be pushy. So have it as a polite email, because obviously if they get 200 applications and 200 people following up, it might be a bit overwhelming for a rescue that's still taking care of the dogs as well. So be mindful. Now for the bonus tip is adding photos. A picture really is worth 1,000 words. So please do include some photos. Include photos of your home, of your yard. Where will your pet sleep? Have you already bought a little bed for it? Those really help to paint this like fuller picture of this life that you are going to offer this animal. And now it is time to move on to our Wet Tales Meet Heart segment today. And today's spotlight goes to this incredible story from the UAE and Canada. And that is the beautiful story of City and her pack, the three snouts and thereabouts. And I'm going to link their socials in our show notes as well. But basically, this story was an absolute heartbreaking situation where she and her animals were abandoned by the people they honestly trusted and loved most in the world. What a lot of people do, and my positive rant earlier was give up their pets when these situations come, when they no longer have that security and everything to give the best to their pets. So instead of actually giving up her 4 pets, Zara, Moonlight, Aurora, and Harry, she put everything in and decided, you know what, the best for her and her pets is actually to relocate back to her home country, Canada. And she really fought so much to keep her little family and her little pack together. And what I love about this story is it kind of became part of our pet community here in Dubai or in the UAE. And a lot of us pulled together. Funds were raised to kind of assist them, and they were able to relocate to Vancouver. So this week, I saw the 3 snouts enjoying a walk in Vancouver sunshine. Well, I saw it on their social media. And honestly, I'm getting goosebumps. It's such, my heart was just bursting because I know after speaking to her what a journey it was for her to get there. And I just want to say, thank you, City, for keeping your commitment to these animals and for reminding us as pet parents that sometimes, yes, there is these obstacles, we go through these things, but it really, really means so much for me to see to what extents you went to make sure that you keep your pack together and just showed so much love during this hard time. So I wish you guys the most amazing journey, and I'm linking all of that in the show notes as well, so you guys can have a look at that and just see how happy these pups are in their new environment. And now our Paw-lebrity of the week. Drum roll, meet ErocDog. Now, this Frenchie is for sure the coolest kid on the block. I mean, honestly, he has skateboard with the legend Tony Hawk. Like, honestly, that is woo! I just love watching his videos. And his amazing pet parents has actually helped us to guide us when we first bought Piper's skateboard. Now, that was a couple of years ago. She's since then had to go through surgery, couldn't skate, but we're back on it, trying to get her to use the skateboard again. But yeah, it is so cool to see this dog skate. Like, honestly, he loves it. Like, it is so cool. And you can check out, like, all of his shenanigans. Instagram, it is just ErocDog, ErocDog. I'm going to pop that link in the show notes as well so you guys can see. And if you know a Paw-lebrity which we should feature, please do send them our way. We love celebrating pups who brings personality to the pavement. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Tales and Tones. Adopting a pet is honestly one of the most rewarding experiences, but it really starts with a great application. So put care and intention into yours, and you'll probably be standing out from the crowd. Now, next episode, we are talking dog manuals, not one that they actually come with, even though That would have been nice, but one that we can actually create for our sitters, our friends, our daycares. So whenever we are not around to look after them, that can kind of help them. So stay tuned. And if today's episode actually spoke to you, or you think a fellow pet parent would love it too, please take a moment to share it with them, and also leave a review on podchaser.com. I will have a link to that directly in our bio on our Instagram at Tails and Tones. It really helps other people to find the show, so I would much greatly appreciate it. And if you've got any feedback, stories, or questions, I would love to hear from you. Come and say hi on Instagram, Tails and Tones. And here's to showing up with heart for the ones who wag, wiggle, and wait at the door. See you in the next one.